We're recording. First inner circle of 2017. And the whole idea behind this notion was what we call getting fit for Facebook. So as much as we can do social media, and a lot of us sort of have this sort of almost attached to our body now, wherever we live or breathe. We try to have some healthy boundaries around social media and what you can and can't do with one of these. So the idea today is to just talk about that with Leah, and then she's going to have some amazing ideas for being able to, stay a little healthier while you're at work. So that's the sort of big plan with this. But just a little background, Leah, why don't we hear? I'd love to hear, or I'd love the group to hear your story, how you got to where you got to.
Are we here for 3 hours? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Actually, okay, so what I'll do is thank you, Jonathan, for inviting me. Jonathan asked me to join the group, and he had this great idea of mixing fitness with Facebook, or at least all the people that are sitting around. I'm assuming that the inner circle is predominantly entrepreneurial and have their own businesses, yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't ask that before, but I kind of assumed that was the case. So those of us that are entrepreneurs, myself included, you can't shake the stripes from the tiger, and working for somebody else is not really an option. So I've incorporated stuff for myself that's very different now than it was 30 years ago when I was working in a gym facility. So I've been a personal trainer for the last 30 years. So that started when I was 5, and just kidding. And I have spent the majority of time working with people.
I just got that.
Yeah, you know what? It's the oldest joke ever. And I can't help it, but I still do it because people actually, once in a blue moon, they think I'm still in my 30s, but whatever. The lighting's usually bad. And so what happened was I just was drawn. I'm an athlete. I still play soccer. I have for 40 something years. And so this is what I do. It is part of me. I feel like I'm pulled to it. And being in the health and fitness industry, it has changed. And as you know, you see it on TV, you see trends. We're very famous for trends and trying to get people interested, because the truth is there's only 25% of the people that really work out. So if you don't work out regularly, you are considered the norm. However, what those of us that are still in the industry are trying to do is get people to be more health conscious. So my new endeavor right now is about being healthy, happy, and fit. And whatever we need to do, even small little steps, is really what I'm trying to do, and trying to get people a little bit more connected with what makes them happy and what makes their business produce more, what drives them, what health conscious reasons. So this is really where I've come from. So I sold my gym about 3 or 4 years ago, and I had spent most of my life working with people's physical bodies. Everybody came in and said, I want to wear a bikini. Probably not you guys, but wanted to wear a bikini, or you want to lose weight because somebody's getting married or somebody died, or whatever the case might be. It was usually little radical requests. I need this done and I need it yesterday. And even though we got really great transformations, I love that about my job. And yes, it improves everybody's life, but there was something missing. And so I myself needed to grow individually and gain more knowledge about the psychology. So I went off and did my life coaching certification and also an NLP master practitioner course, which really analyzes brain, thoughts, language, and the power of our own thinking. So that is what I've incorporated into my business, and I took it online. Now I can reach more people, because my goal now is to spread the message, to try to change the consciousness of the people out there, because unfortunately, even after 30 years, we still have like an epidemic of people who are getting diagnosed with cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. And that's huge. And for those of us that have tried so hard to get people's head wrapped around the concept of why it's so important, they still, we still have to deal with fast foods and brilliant marketing from food companies, and it is not our fault, because 95% of all of the actions we take are usually subconscious. So all the patterns that you've ever had in your life when you grew up as a child, you just stored those and they're there. And unfortunately, unless we make conscious choices, which is really what I teach, it only needs to be small little steps that you take, super simple steps too, but you just have to do them consistently. So what I try to do now is to get people to start a new habit, like brushing your teeth. Kind of works the same way. And even though myself included, I wasn't born this way. I wasn't born with a pair of running shoes on. It's a lifestyle that I've adopted, because I know I feel better when I move. My body feels better when I eat good food. And do I still learn things? Yes, absolutely. And I just pass them off. So I'm the guinea pig. And after I've done it and tried it, and I know the results, and I know thousands of clients over the last 3 decades have gotten results, I know that living a healthy lifestyle does not have to be hard. You don't need to go to the gym for an hour every day, and you don't need to eat bean sprouts and drink hemp shakes. Like, that's not what it's about. It's just about a healthy approach. So that is me. And I've been overweight before. I've had an extra 45 pounds after my daughter. I've had adrenal fatigue from being so stressed out from balancing work and motherhood. I've gone through a separation. I've had sadness and all kinds of stuff in my life. But guess what? Being healthy and fit has saved me from suffering in any long-term way. So that's who I am.
Okay.
I am.
While you're there, Leah, you
Sorry?
said just while you're there, you said you had a separation.
Yes.
Share with the group how you documented that.
Here we go. See that?
So Leah is a published author. So last year she did it as an ebook, and just this last week or so, it's become a hardback, a full book, right?
Yeah. So it's actually it's something. I'm sure everybody has a goal. I've always had a goal to write a book, and it's funny when you start paying attention, and this is part of the mindfulness and the mental fitness. When you start listening to yourself and you have certain goals and passions that you really, really want, I'm full of them. I have a bucket list, and I have things that have just been there for a really long period of time. For example, I don't know if you can see it, but I have a vision board here behind me. And this is a huge project I get clients to do, because whether it's health related or whether it's monetary, materialistic, whatever it is for you, visualization works. And so this book has a step-by-step process in it. And I didn't know this was the book that I was going to write, but going through a major transition in 2015 after 27-year marriage, and a good marriage, might I add. It's just we were growing our separate ways, literally. So we're still really great friends, really fantastic parents. And my kids, guess what, are normal and thriving. They're teenagers, and we have a great life. So everybody's able to pursue their passions and carry on. And that is, one of the things that I have crossed off the list.
So Leah and I worked together a year or so ago, and we started a website strategy around telling her story and getting that ebook launched. And then it's fair to say that you didn't get the uptake of new clients that you were hoping for initially. So you took the brave decision and you went back and took a JOB for a short while, right?
Well, I took the JOB because my daughter had suffered last January. This last year's been really tough. She suffered from some autoimmune disease. She went from modeling and dancing professionally. She graduated, and we took a long trip to California. And then when she came back, it was kind of downhill from there. So we went to every single specialist for every body part and system that we have. Western medicine wasn't able to tell us what it was. Well, they made a false diagnosis that she had a rare disease that she could potentially die from. And then it turns out that they were wrong. So this is one of the reasons why, too, I stress that people go and look for alternative methods of health. If you're not sure, but you know something's not right, again, paying attention to yourself. This is something that we did, and we just followed through with her. And it was expensive, let's face it. Unfortunately, our medical system doesn't cover all of that. So we had to do all of the alternative therapies, which were thousands of dollars a month. And in my profession, I can step into a job quite easily and make a good salary. But if any of you have ever done that before, the 9-to-5 job, I now understand, and I think there's a couple reasons why I'm sharing this with you, because it does relate to fitness and it does relate to business, is that sometimes you have to do what you don't want to do in order to figure out what it is that you have to do, if that makes any sense. So clients of mine that work 9-to-5 and have staring at the clock and look forward to Friday and can't, they don't want to get to Monday, and they live this really dreaded life, and they're unhappy and they're waiting to retire, and their health, mental health and physical health is going downhill because they are fighting those things inside that are telling them they should be doing something different. So I took the job for that learning experience, and I thank that I did that. I'm grateful for that, but also that I was able to do a whole bunch of therapies that most people don't know about for my daughter. And, I'm happy to say she's probably 75% better. So yeah, sometimes we have to make decisions that are not that great, but because I'm a big supporter in health and well-being, it was sort of one of those decisions of, when you're not well and when you're not feeling good, you have to do something about it. And most people, that maybe for you all included, maybe you sit too long. And so it's important that we look at how to move the body and how to fuel the body so that you're actually taking care of, you're being proactive and warding off disease and living a healthier lifestyle. And the bottom line is, if you're not happy, what are you doing? Make a change, right?
Yep.
So that's me making a change. I'm all about change. I really encourage people to color outside the lines, live outside your comfort zone, because that's where shift happens. That's where the exciting stuff happens, is when you step outside and try something new or something that you've always wanted to do. You're never too old. I just saw a video yesterday on Facebook, Jonathan, I don't know if you saw it, a 98-year-old woman who was still doing yoga. I'll have to post it on my site. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So another thing that Leah started doing the last few months is you've been doing mind movies, right? That's what you call them?
Yeah.
And how many are you at now?
Well, I just actually pulled it up in case I need to share it in the group. But my YouTube channel has 73 videos on there right now that are all related to something to do with mind-body wellness. Fantastic.
And I've seen you in the bath with a glass of wine and the Epsom salts.
No. Glasses of wine are when I'm cooking. In the bath, when I'm reducing inflammation and trying to relax, in Epsom salt bath for bodies, that is actually a therapeutic method. Yep. It's Grand Marnier.
Oh, okay.
And for some people that have commented back, they, scotch or whiskey or whatever, I don't know. But I actually this is what makes it healthy and okay that a trainer's told you this, is that I mix the Grand Marnier with organic chai tea. That's
what it was.
Okay, or herbal organic chai tea, which cancels out the effect of the alcohol, right, and the sugar. So
I just love the fact that you've just embraced the video strategy that we talked about, and you've done it almost every day for over 2 months, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, seriously, I think it's been, except for 2 days, maybe Christmas Day and one other day. I think I've posted every day, and it gets easier. I know that a lot of people, one of the inner circles I was in, they were deathly afraid of doing a video because we judge ourselves, right? We don't look like a celebrity, or what if something happens? Well, once you start being vulnerable on video, it gets easy. It's super easy, because there is a reason why, if you look at the psychology behind these really bad reality shows that are out there, mm-hmm. People are celebrating the trials and what's the best word to use? People feel better about themselves when they can find an example of somebody who's not doing very well. Right. And that's an unfortunate human behavior, that people feel better about themselves. It raises their self-confidence level by, following something where they're thinking, oh, poor thing. Because it's easy to be grateful for your life if you just go see somebody, go down into Vancouver. Every time I drive to Vancouver, I feel the same way when I see these people living in the cold, and I can barely survive going from my door to my car. It's freezing.
Yes.
So so it gives you some perspective for sure.
So kudos for you for making that many, and I'd love to see the engagement that's created, and you've gotten some really amazing sort of dialogues going out of those videos.
Well, you know what? I think that it's a learning experience. I think that the social media part of it, again, what we're talking about today is about fitness, mental, physical fitness, and blending it with social media. Now, if we could have more of that good stuff on social media and less of the junk that you see on YouTube videos, like even my teenage kids who watch things and they've got like 1 million hits, and it's like, it's in bad taste, I think.
Yes.
But I always think, okay, what's wrong with our society where that gets more acknowledgement than something else? So trying to keep it light, which is where the fun stuff comes in. And so what I try to do even in this little presentation is just a little tidbit of tips. Really, it's just easy tips for people to incorporate in their life. And if you take one thing from what I've said, then I would have done my job. And I think as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, if you can, make that one sale to somebody or make you change somebody else's life, I think it's huge. In my profession, of course, changing the consciousness of the world is my goal. So I'm going to do it till the day I die.
Yay. So why don't you share the screen and
I will.
Show us what you have. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
I can see everybody's.
Now, I'm wondering if for reasons of interaction, because normally I love to do things live and I love audience feedback, if something comes up, if somebody wants to yell and ask a question at one of the slides, I'd be happy to answer. I don't mind being waved down or interrupted.
Sure. And we're quite a small group, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's more of an intimate group. So let's get here.
You need to go down to your PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, I already had it open, but that's weird. I don't know where it went. That's okay.
There you go.
We'll find it. Here we go.
Nice.
Blue's a calming color, so hopefully everybody's calm.
Yep.
So this is just simply 8 tips. If you want to write these down, great. If you have questions about any one of them, let me know. This is something that, this is me every day. I don't wear the same shirt every day, but this was one particular day, and I just happened to notice I was sitting up doing my social media posts in the gym and listening to a podcast. I actually multitask, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not good for focus, but I listen to a podcast. I'm always doing personal development and business and working out at the same time. So when people tell me they don't have time and I work long hours, I always say, yes, you do. It's just a matter of what you do in those periods of time. So I was sitting there and I saw myself in the mirror and I realized I was wearing Jonathan's shirt. So this actually was taken probably about, 4 months ago, Jonathan, I guess. And I sent it to him as a, hey, I did some advertising for you today.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's really what I'm doing. And so one of the tips is to just move. And it doesn't matter if you're doing social media. I just mean in general, you should be moving. And so I gave you an example there of riding. Like if you wanted to ride a bike, it frees up your hands so that you're able to post or whatever you're doing. Maybe some of you, your phone is your computer. So that makes it easy to do. Sometimes I'll do, if some of you do podcasts or emails, you can talk into your phone and you can get more creative when you're walking. And there's lots of research to show that our brain power is enhanced when we're moving. So if that doesn't get you moving, I don't know what will.
Yep.
So any chance you can do that.
Yep.
And the other thing is to, just go outside for a walk. I mean, today is a fabulous day because it's sunshine. You need the vitamin D, and vitamin D and fresh air together is like a wake-up call. It works way better than coffee. Okay, so that's another tip. It's not even on the list.
Actually, can you press the slide button so you go full screen with those slides?
Sure. Where's the slide button, Jonathan?
Top left, 4th button in from the right.
Oh, here.
I don't know, but that would, I was thinking of putting icons in the very top left, but that might work too.
Why is it not working?
Current slide there. 3 over. No, over. One more. There you go. From there.
Gotta close this just a minute. Now you can see why I like to do front. There we go. How's that?
Perfect.
And I'll move my little bar down here. Okay, now I gotta move. There. So this one here, if you didn't know already, your butt is your biggest muscle. Okay, so most of the time when people are doing all their social media, they're sitting on their largest muscle. So if you want to have your metabolism up, you actually have to move the body and work that muscle. And so, of course, a lot of people have extra body fat on there. Now, we don't have a lot of women here, but women generally tend to displace a lot of fat on our butts. So you guys are lucky because you don't, which is really just unfair, but that's a whole other presentation. And so the couple of different options. These are some things you can do when you get up to take a break, is to do some squats. So you're actually standing up and you're doing, as if you're going to sit down on a toilet or sit down on a chair. You go to sit down in your chair, but then you stand up. It's kind of like psych. Okay? Then the other option is you got to get up for bathroom breaks, especially if you're drinking lots of water. So you lunge to the bathroom. Now you look a little dorky. If anybody else is at home, they'll wonder what you're doing. But you take a big lunge step and you bend your knees so that you're working the muscles that would take way more effort than if you were to just walk normally. And then taking a big glass of water, not little tiny ones, but big glasses of water ensures that you're getting enough, but then you can do a few bicep curls before you actually sip the water. Sounds silly, but these are simple strategies and they are effective. It actually works. And then the other thing is just to get down, change the scenery, don't be horizontal, go down and start doing 5 push-ups or 10 or 2 or whatever you can do. I just gave a really easy number to start with. And doing push-ups helps to work the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps. So and also you get a little bit of stomach work, and it helps to strengthen your lower back from sitting all the time. So we need something to offset the pressure on our lower backs. And the other thing is the triceps. If you do off the end of your desk or on the step or on a coffee table, you can push yourself. So you'd be on an angle. I'll just stand up a little bit. Maybe you can see it. So you'd be like this, if that makes any sense. You're on the end, and you'd be bending your arms and then straightening your arms on the edge of your desk or on the edge of a coffee table. Okay, and then the last one there is bus thrusts, or just really, you can do this when you're driving. I do it in grocery store lineups when I'm waiting in the long lineups. I always pick the wrong line. So I have extra time to do bus thrust. So you're just sticking your chest out and you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. You can do that on the phone. You can do that when you're on the computer. It just, anytime you can think of it, do it. So that counts as physically moving. Oops. Okay, so the second tip is that you need to take a break every hour. Now, research shows that, and this would be great if we could do this for our kids too in schools, but every 50 minutes or so, every 45 minutes, and I think even these days, I'd almost venture to say it's less, because our attention span is so minimalized these days that after about 50 minutes, I'm going to say roughly every hour, just take a break. You need a chance to freshen up, like refocus, get some fresh air, clear your headspace, and that'll just boost the brain power. So you can go back, grab yourself a glass of water, grab yourself a snack, whatever it is that you need to do. Super important. And I've had clients set themselves up, like they're entrepreneurs, as you know, we can work for hours and never get up. And all of a sudden the time goes by and you've been sitting for 4 hours. You may not feel it at that time, but production might be down. You might notice the next day that your back is really tight, because that's a really long time to be sitting in that position. Okay, so every hour. The other thing is stand up whenever you can. So if you're not typing and you're not creating, stand up for as long as you can. You burn more calories, you keep your body active, and again, you're more apt to produce when you're standing up because your body's awake. Okay, so the tendency is, especially when it's warm in the room, you tend to get a little bit sleepy when you're sitting. So the energy stays up. Now, the other thing we need to know is our bodies are not made to sit. So if you were to get out of your chair right now, but not stand up and just walk around the house, you'd be in a semi-squatted position. Now, even being in a semi-squatted position would be better for you if you're not actually sitting on a chair with gravity, because there's no pressure on your back. But you can imagine that we are built the way we are to be standing up straight. So just to give you an idea, if you want to go and look in your bathroom mirror after we're done, turn to the side and look to see if your ears, your shoulders, your elbow, your hips, and your knees and your ankles are in a line, a straight line. That's a perfect posture. You probably have less issues going on if that's in alignment. If you have like that forward head tilt and hunched shoulders or a big curvature in your back or something, then you know that you need to do something about posture. Standing up will help. And it just feels, if you got a really difficult call, or the alternative, you want to be happy and you're smiling when you're on the phone, it translates into more energy on the other end. Most of my coaching nowadays is not in person, it's on the phone, and it's almost better because people don't see, you don't have to deal with all those nonverbal cues. So as far as, mental fitness goes, the other person receives more energy from you when you're standing up. So it's a better exchange. And not to mention, people tend to whisper. If you've ever noticed that with somebody else, is that the voice tonation tends to go down when people sit. Okay, so hopefully one of those will help you guys. Yep. And then we need to stretch. So even if you're and I can do this easy here, just to do this, hands behind your head. Okay, go ahead and try, because I can see you all. Awesome. Simon says, okay, and then what you do is you pull the elbows back, and you can feel that in your shoulder blades. And then take your hands behind your back and squeeze. Pull your shoulder blades together. Stick your bust out. And now that, just even doing that is a bonus. Now I've given you here 5 stretches, and I can do it, or Jonathan will do it at the end in the inner circle is a link to my YouTube video that goes through each one of these stretches for you.
Okay, I'll find that.
Okay, so that'll be available for you. So the most important, I could have done a dozen of them, but I wanted to keep it simple. So these are the areas that get the most abuse from sitting for a long period of time. So as you may or may not know, stretching is really a part of the component of flexibility in the overall fitness circle that we have. And it is imperative daily to do stretching, not just for your work time, but any other time. Yeah. Oh, there it is there. So that's me. That's a big stretch on my little workstation and where I'm sitting now, and I'm stretching out my back. Now that actually stretches out about 3 or 4 different muscle groups just by being in that position. Okay, now what I didn't do is, a couple people have asked me before, aside from what you see, what these particular food choices are. I'm all about colorful, healthy, water-based, fresh, live food. Am I vegan or vegetarian? No. My daughter pretty much is, and I have lots of clients that eat that way. So I have had to do lots of research to find things that actually give you enough fat and protein. But what I can say is that if you eat this way, really clean, and even often throughout the day, every 2 to 3 hours, your energy level will be up. You'll produce more, guaranteed. I put money on it if you can eat more regularly. If you constantly drink coffee, now I know this is common. I've got clients that drink coffee all day, and then the first meal they have is lunchtime. So if you're up in the morning, no matter what time you get up, your first meal of the day has to be within a half an hour to an hour max. Otherwise, you will not produce as much in the day. It's the same as having an empty tank in your car. So you need to have good fuel in there, not a muffin and a Timmy's coffee. That wouldn't count. nor is it like uplifting or energetic to sit in one of those lineups. People sit in that lineup for 15 or 20 minutes in the morning when I pass by. I don't get it. I don't understand the psychology. So anytime, the one tip I am going to share with you, you'll see that in each one of those, the top left one is tuna poke. If any of you have ever been to Hawaii, this is like a regular meal. It's papaya and papaya, avocado, cilantro, raw tuna, sesame seeds, and chili sauce, and onions. It's fantastic. You can eat it by itself, or you can put it on like tortilla chips or rice chips. The salmon spinach salad. Salmon is one of our key proteins because of the omegas in it, good fats. Have more fish and less red meat if you want more energy. If you want to be more productive, it's all about that, right? You want energy all day long from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, which is really what I'd like to share with you. Then there are these sorts of tips that you can do. And having Greek salad, so the top right side, I'm a big seafood lover, so I've got scallops there. That's not a normal thing, but that's what I love. But the Greek salad can be done with or without goat cheese, which again goes with everything. If you're looking for weight loss or you just don't like cheese, then leave it out. And you can put it in eggs. You can put it in salads. You can put it in wraps. You can add it to a stir fry. So you can make a big bowl of that and have it for days. You can have it for the whole family, and it lasts you a long time. And then I love prepping food. And so it's my hobby. And down on the bottom left, I did that for one of my daughter's friends' parties, and it just looks good, right? It looks appetizing. And that probably costs, just as a side note, that probably only costs like $10. And I don't know if any of you have bought that really yucky fruit plate from Costco, but that thing is like $16, and you don't get that much fruit, and it doesn't even taste very good. It tastes like it has chemicals in it. So you can do most of these foods for definitely under the normal price that you would in a restaurant. And so on the bottom there, adding different things. What I wanted to point out was sometimes people get a little bored and they're not very creative in what they choose. And sometimes when you introduce yourself to new foods, it makes life just a little bit more exciting. So again, this is where the fun part comes in, and it's just feeding your body with good stuff. And the standard bottom right-hand corner, standard perfect meal. If you're stuck, you can have that for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or a snack. And it's just strictly eggs, scrambled eggs with spinach, avocado, and salsa. It is the perfect, balanced, nutritious meal. So if you're really stuck, that's your go-to. Does anybody have any questions about the food part? I mean, that's a whole 3-hour workshop all by itself. But
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. I know, I'm kind of getting hungry now too. It actually when I look at pictures like this is why, I talk about colorful food as a creative part of me, is that it makes me salivate. So if you're creating food that is not only healthy, but looks good, you're more likely to want to eat it more often.
Yep.
And then too, the difference between you eating a fruit salad and you eating a hamburger, just for a moment, think about the difference. Think about the last time you had a bowl of fruit and the last time you had a hamburger. What goes on in your body, right? That's all you need to do, is get leverage and know what makes you feel better and what makes you sleep. Like turkey dinners at Christmas, right? We all want to go to bed. So it's all about what we're putting in. So this one's for Alfred. Because we already talked about it. That was a good intro, Alfred. Thank you. I'll pay you later for that. That is, you know what? I love my Americanos in the morning. I have a machine, and I have organic coffee.
Oh, they're the best.
Moja. Yeah, you've had it, Jonathan.
Oh, yeah.
He usually has 2 cups because it's so good. So it's organic coffee. It's called Moja, and I get it from Wendell's there in Fort Langley. And it is the best cup of coffee. And I really only have gotten down to, because it's so good, about 3/4 of a cup. And I don't really want any more after that. And then throughout the day, herbal teas and waters are the best ways, or fruit juices, veggie juices, best way to get the hydration in there. But for every cup of coffee, you got to have 2 glasses of water. So and that's because you don't want it to get into a state of dehydration. If you're lacking energy, or you have that 2 to 3 o'clock hour of jet lag feeling, where most people are on Facebook because they need something to wake them up.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for something to do. So great for us, those of us that are posting at that time. But if I'm really doing service, I'd be saying, well, those people really should be having a healthy snack and having more water, because chances are they're dehydrated. So sometimes if you're feeling hungry or feeling low energy, the fastest trick in the book is to drink a big glass of water and then just gauge it from there. So if that sounds like a lot, that's 12 8-ounce cups. Alfred, how many not that I'm putting you on the spot, but I am. How many glasses of water have you had today?
Less than that.
Okay, just checking. You got time. It's only what? 2:43. Look at that. You got time.
Well, he's in Calgary, so you got to give him an hour less.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. Okay, now this is another fit. I know this feels weird because you'd probably say, well, what does this have to do with fitness? And well, obviously sitting at your desk doing your work and social media, you need to be nice to your body. You've got to be kind to your body. And that's not only moving it, feeding it good, hydrating it, but making sure that you're sitting in a workspace that's functional. And the reason being is you don't want to end up with long-term issues like, cashiers that end up with tendonitis in their hand from doing the same thing all the time, or people that are mousing or typing with really poor ergonomic keyboards or chairs that don't support their lower back. So comfort is first, the same as running shoes. Again, a side note, just so much information in 30 years, I can't put it into one presentation, but it's comfort first. You got to go for, chairs, running shoes, clothes that are comfortable, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a side note, but this is more for mindfulness and mental health. That if you want to stay alert and you want to produce, and you have, even if you decide that you're going to do, 4 intense hours of work today and then that's it. Well, keep the environment cooler, because your body's already, it's happy to be at whatever temperature it is right now. It doesn't need to have more warmth, because that'll make you sluggish. And the other thing is create a space of things that are inspirational. And I showed you an example of what I do. I have my vision board here. I have my bookshelf over there. I have my Vancouver picture, my happy place behind me. I love my workspace. So if you don't like your workspace, fix it. Jonathan has a wonderful JD gem thing going on now, if nobody ever saw it. It looks fantastic, and I think that's just cool. He's proud of it, and so he's now just inspired himself by changing his office. And the other thing is, not from the picture that I showed you, but when it's clutter-free and you have piles, even at the end of the day that you put your stuff into piles, it just helps to organize not only desk but your mind, so it doesn't become overwhelmed, a big mess of to-dos. Or you have a box, maybe you don't have an inbox and an outbox, and the inbox never goes down. I don't know about you, but never goes away. So having, organized piles would really help. And then I have, like right now, I have on classical music. There's something about it's like riding a horse. It gets me organized and creative and whatever it is for you, but take note of those things, because your brain is always looking for ways to get resourceful. So you have to be good to it. So that's what I wanted to share. Those are there's 1,000 other tips, but for your takeaways today, I'm hoping that there's something there that will work for you guys. I'm curious, is there anything that a takeaway for you that you learned that was new, that you could incorporate right away into your day?
Do you want to just stop sharing the screen there so we can go back to multiplex?
Sure. Stop sharing.
There we go. Perfect. Oh, and someone's phone's going. So my office is beautifully balanced with light now because of the extra blind that Nancy got for me. I have both blinds closed now because it's so sunny on today, but now the light's perfect. So thank you, Nancy.
You know what I should do, Jonathan? I'm gonna go back to share screen for 1 second.
Yep.
There is just wanted to put on here. There. So just wanted to put my contact information so that if anybody has questions, the door's always open. I'd be happy to help answer any questions that you may have. And I also have, Jonathan will do this, I'm pretty sure, hey, I have a free gift.
Yes.
that I've incorporated for anybody that it's a 12 lifestyle steps or 12 healthy lifestyle tips that you can incorporate into your day to, raise your level of fitness. So,
yeah.
So there you go.
Got it.
So does anybody have any specific questions? It can be personal questions. It can be more explanation of something. I'm happy to answer that.
Do you do a post every day?
Doug, did you say something?
Do you do a post every day? Do you put a post up every day?
I do. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and then I post on my own personal site, and then I also post on my Straight Up Coaching. Because at this point right now, I have more followers on my personal site than I do on my Straight Up, my business site.
Right.
And so, yes, there. And then the My Movies are always posted on Straight Up Coaching and always posted on YouTube.
Yeah. I have trouble coming up with new things to put up every day.
What business are you in?
We're a small organic farm in Chilliwack. We do some upselling stuff of honeys and herbal teas, herbs, dried herbs, fresh garlic, tomatoes, that sort of thing.
Well,
although I came up with some good ideas just listening to you.
Well, that's fantastic. I was just thinking to myself.
This honey is the best on the planet.
What's the name?
Greendale Herb and Vine.
Okay, I have heard of Greendale. Have you ever been at one of the trade shows? Have you done trade shows?
Farmers markets mostly.
Yeah, I have seen your product.
Ambleside.
Well, I'm all about, the other thing I would say is networking. The first thing I'm thinking about is, gosh, for people like myself and even my followers, they're asking always for more information and more tips for like herbs, like what can they add to their food? And so first thing I'm thinking about is recipes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Pinterest is I don't do much Pinterest, but there's so many recipes that go around and so many people talk about sharing recipes that I think the benefits of certain herbs, the reason why we need to eat organic, it's what I plug all the time. So I think that for those reasons, if you could share that with people.
I'm going to do that. The one I thought about today is, like, our garlic is under about a foot of snow.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to go dig some up to show everybody how it's still growing.
Yeah. See, that's awesome. That would be a
live video. I thought of that one today. Mm-hmm.
So now will you have somebody video you going out and digging it up?
I'm going to have to wait for Katie to get home. She gets home in about an hour, but it's a beautiful day. It's just a perfect day to do something.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd be interested in that because I have to be honest, I have a podcast with two other co-hosts, and it's called the Divine Wine and Shine Show. It's not just about wine. It's actually about conversations, and we try to bring really great topics to the table. One of the co-hosts is Shelley Summerfield Lewis, and she is well known in the garden industry, and she probably would know a little bit about your stuff, but she often comes up with just ideas and does little video clips. If you want to look at her Serendipity, it's called. So before you do your video today, she's well known. She's been asked recently to talk at one of the garden shows, and her stuff is just top notch. So it's called SOWN, and then Dippity.
Okay.
She does a fabulous job at her videos as well. And I have a PC. I don't have a Mac, so I'd like to find a really great program that I can edit my own videos. Jonathan, I don't know if you have a recommendation.
So if you're on a PC,
yeah,
probably ScreenFlow or Camtasia will be the two that would work best.
Camtasia?
Yeah. And that way you can do your PowerPoint with voiceovers as well as doing your videos all on the same platform.
Yeah. I need to do that.
Yeah. Just as a side note, Paige, who you know very well, Doug is Paige's stepdad.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's super creative.
Awesome. Yeah. We love her. Yeah. She's fantastically creative. She's helped us do our first logo for our business. When she was 14 years old, she did the first logo.
Oh, is that right? See, so she's got her purpose and her calling. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Whereas Mr. Alfred is the site safety guy for construction zones all over Canada. And they sell software to help companies monitor their safety record and keep everything together.
So do you have to work with WCB?
Yeah, we do a fair bit of work with WCB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it's getting so strict. I know that even the last job that I took, there was WCB was putting more mandates in for safety, and you know, you got to wear a helmet walking across the street these days.
And our big focus is how do you do that without crippling a company financially? How do you stay in compliant and because the complaint we always hear is it takes 10 people to do one person's work.
Absolutely.
And that's because systems aren't put together right.
That's exactly right. So the systems that we're creating with all this technology should really be making things easier for people.
It should be. In many cases, they're not. But
Well,
they should be.
you just brought up a really great point, because this is a common complaint that I have with clients, that they are those people that are getting their life sucked out of them at work, and they're unhappy, and then they take it home, and there really isn't that much life, right? They work to pay the bills, and then there isn't much living going on. So it's unfortunate. So having some systems definitely work.
And then Nancy lives in the world of interior design.
Nice.
Can I unmute you, Nancy? Or do you want to do it? There we go.
I don't have much of a voice, so I can't really talk.
Oh,
I
sorry.
was thinking is that your voice normally? Because it's a really sexy tone.
I know I should do some side jobs right now, but it's not working.
Yeah. You want to do some voiceovers for me for the next couple hours? Yeah.
Too funny, too funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I put in the chat box, I've got Leah's Facebook page, but a lot of the work she originates on her personal page, and you're quite happy to friend the group through that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I put the YouTube video that you suggested, and also the link to your Dirty Dozen.
Free gift, yes, definitely.
That you and Paige put together.
Yep. That's right.
And then we're just working on some new, by the way, tell us about your webinar.
Okay, on Monday, I'm launching my first webinar. So very different to go from, as I mentioned, brick and mortar to doing something online. I love talking. I love talking to people. But to take, honestly, this has been like it's been a couple of years, but it's been really a couple of months of just content creation and how to take 30 years and put it into one signature system. So I've decided after many sleep, I get that if you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning with like really great ideas, write them down, because that is the creative hour. And that's how I came up with Happy, Healthy, and Fit. And it's a simple game plan for changing your lifestyle, basically. And it covers all aspects. The webinar will be about 45 minutes long. I'm doing it on Monday, January 16th at 6 p.m. And it will cover the major points of incorporating lifestyle change and just simple tips similar to this. I mean, this is like one tiny bit of a massive lifestyle change, right? So it's hard to bring it into focus, but I think the key part is if you are not happy, healthy, and fit right now, or not at the level that you want to be, then you should come and listen to the webinar and tell friends that you know that could use the information as well. Because again, maybe they don't stay for the whole 45 minutes, but if they get one thing out of it, then it will have done its job. That's the whole point.
And then you're creating a virtual coaching program that people join either one-on-one or in groups, right?
Yeah, there'll be the option of that. The webinar, there will be a 4-week lifestyle launch that I'm going to do, which really is just getting your feet wet. It's just because some people get a little bit nervous about, a 3-month. I do have a 90-day one that I'm creating right now, and then a full year. Because if you don't have the support and accountability and you're not constantly learning, it's like everything else. I don't know if you guys golf or play tennis or something like that. If you don't pick up the racket or you don't go skiing one winter, the next year is kind of a bit of a struggle. So I'm trying to make the program available for all different levels. So I have some VIP, some one-on-one stuff, and I have some group events. But it allows people to get into the private Facebook group, similar to what Jonathan's doing, where you have a community of people and you've got access to me at all times. and then coaching platforms like one-on-one coaching once a month or once a week, depending on what program you do. So the 4-week one will be launched on Monday just to get people's feet wet, and then we'll go from there, and people will have an option of going into further programs if they need it.
Fantastic.
But it's like one of those things, if you ever invest in a personal trainer or a life coach, it is never wasted money because it is something you can use forever. I went and saw Tony Robbins in 1995, and I walked on fire. And that has been a life analogy for me since that date. And I do like his stuff. I know not everybody does, but he is one of my mentors. And it's about taking massive action when you want to make a change. And you can't just sit back and wait for it to happen. And you can't hope that it's going to happen. You actually have to take action. So movement is a big part of what I teach and what I do, as if you didn't get that already.
That's awesome.
I made you all do something. Okay, so now is a good time for me to ask what people are going to do when they get off the call, right?
Go for it.
Okay, so did everybody write down what they're going to take action on today? Just one little thing.
Drink water.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Alfred?
Well, I will dilute my coffee. How's that? No.
Hey, it's a good start. You know, a little one is all good.
Yeah.
Nancy's going to get her voice back. More water will help.
Yeah.
Good.
And how about you? Are you going to do anything different?
I do something different each day. As a matter of fact, yesterday I created a bunch of stuff. I did a video yesterday if you saw it. I created a whole bunch of food in cleanup, prep, and cooking time in less than an hour. Shared it on Facebook, and today I have some extra stuff, but I'm going to actually try some new things. I've bought some organics, kind of more of a vegan thing that I'm going to experiment with because I like to be the guinea pig first before I share it with everybody. But I'm looking for some new protein and fat options for some of my vegetarian clients. So it means that I got to eat some of this stuff first. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. So yeah, so I have to do a little taste testing today. And then tonight I have a podcast. We're in our 2nd year. So we are talking about some really cool things. And so that's going to be what I do tonight. So it doesn't feel like work. It's all fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just a question.
And you're in a soccer team, right?
What's that?
And you're in a soccer team.
Yeah, you just want me to say the name Cougars, don't you? I am officially a Cougar. Number 11, always has been. Yeah. Actually, we've been the Cougars for a really long time. The big joke is when the Cougars play the Beavers in Surrey. It's a true story. I'm not lying.
I love it. I love it.
That's what gets the frustration out. So if you know, sometimes even women, we still have testosterone, but sometimes just to get out there and know that if I was to drop dead in the middle of a soccer field, I'd have lived a good life. I have no worries. So if you can do something that, you used to do, I'm all about the childlike thing. This is the fun part. When I hear people's self-limiting beliefs to say, oh, I can't do it, I'm too old, or I used to do that, but I can't now, or whatever the case might be, I always think, why not? Like that 98-year-old woman I said that does yoga. If there's a sport you want to play or something you want to try, just go try it, because just that decision of taking action, it does so much for the dopamine in your brain. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's an extra tip.
There you go. Love that. What I love too is that you were in our VIP program last year, but everything pretty much that I said everybody should do, you've done.
Yeah, I'm super coachable. Because I'm an athlete, I listen to my coaches. I've been told that from my other 2 mentors. They're like, you're the easiest student at all. You just do what we tell you. And I'm like, yeah, because I want to get the same results.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if it works for somebody, why wouldn't, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore. So when you get older and wiser and you've been running your business and certain things, you're beating your head against the wall. Some of the tips that I shared with you, like if you're always on the top of your game and you're optimally healthy, everything else is better. The way you think, the way you produce, whatever you do. And so if you have somebody that just gives you a recipe for how to get results, why wouldn't you just do it? It makes so simple sense to me, right?
Completely. Okay, so we're almost at the top of the hour. So any other questions for Leah, folks?
Just a quick question about that eggs and salsa and avocado. What else was in there?
Spinach.
Spinach.
So if you don't have spinach, no big deal. You might like mushrooms and onions too, but it does take extra time to prep it. So if you're looking for something super quick within 5 minutes,
Hello.
I literally will like whip up the eggs, throw the spinach, put the eggs in, and then take the salsa and avocado. Literally, it's 5 minutes. But if you want to chop mushrooms, you've got extra time. Mushrooms or onions or any kind of vegetables. Like if you've done that Greek salad ahead of time. Remember I said big bowl of Greek salad that's in the fridge can be used over and over again for different meals for days.
Awesome.
So planning, I mean, that's a whole other workshop that I do, but planning meals and getting creative and putting things into your diet that your body needs, like supplementing, is a huge part of fitness. What to eat, when to eat. And there's a lot of information, don't get me wrong. Even for myself, there is so much to learn. To kill the myths for you guys and give you the things that you need to know is really like to have one person you can trust and go to in anything to do with health and fitness is really what I want to do, as opposed to having you look in a magazine or going on the internet and just trying to find something on the subject, because they're all those people out there are not created equal and they don't all know what they're talking about.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Guess not. Thank you so much, my friend. That was fantastic.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. So this is recorded. It'll be on YouTube in an hour or so, and then I'll lift it back and put it in the group for everybody else.
Sounds great.
And then if you, when we get a link to the webinar for Monday, I'll put that in the group as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
Fantastic. Good job. Thank you very much.
You guys.
Great work. Thank you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Bye.
Okay. Have a great afternoon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.